What's up, guys? Welcome back to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho. Thank you so much for watching. And guys, today we are talking about Jayson Oweh out of Penn State. And this was a requested video from my boy Chris, who has been an awesome subscriber. Just incredibly supportive in the comments, always asking questions, always, hyping me up a little bit. And it's very, very much appreciated. Thank you so much, Chris. And I'm really excited to talk about this guy, Jayson Oweh out of Penn State. He's a player who, honestly, he's your traits guy. I think, you get a couple of these guys every year, especially from like the defensive end position, that just like everything you want from a physical standpoint and athletic standpoint there checks the box, right? Talking about a guy who is 6'5", 257 pounds, long arms, just a freak of nature athletically. I think he ran in like the 4.4s, 4.3s, something crazy like that on his 40. Just all of those things pop, right? Athletically just pops. I will say he's very, very raw prospect for me, and there's certainly some issues there, but nothing athletically that you really have a question about. And those guys, yeah, they go day two, and probably not going to have a ton of production year one, I wouldn't expect anyway, but has a chance to be a really, really good player down the line. Let's get into the skill chart so we can kind of break this player down in a different way. So first thing we'll notice is his burst and first step at a 7.6. That is an elite grade for me. It's incredible. You can't teach this. It's a special skill that you have to have when you're rushing off the edge to get to the quarterback in less than 2.5, 3 seconds. You need that first burst. And I think the 40 time speaks to a lot of that, quickness off the line. It's special. It's very, very good. It's a big reason why he's going to be drafted very, very early. Flexibility and bend at a 4.1. This is a negative grade, but it's not like a terrible negative grade. This is something like, just for me, I felt like he was just a little bit too stiff. I didn't feel like he dipped his shoulders quite as much as I would have liked. Doesn't turn that corner incredibly well for me, not from really what I saw. And I think a lot of that can be a techniques thing. I think, you saw a good amount of I don't think he's, like I said, stiff earlier. I don't know if he's like necessarily stiff, or maybe he's just not dipping that shoulder as much as he could. He's just not, for whatever reason, or maybe he's just so used to winning with his explosiveness, with his athleticism, his quickness, that he's just not used to, like, when a defender gets his hand on him, which isn't going to happen a whole lot, just be honest. Like, long arms, he does have pretty quick hands. All those things are positive. So but when a college guy got his hands on him, especially, I didn't just see him like bend. I saw him, incredible motor. Like he'll run into you, he'll explode through you, but I just didn't see him bending the dipping that shoulder enough. Didn't see him turning that corner quite enough. So yeah, negative grade, but I certainly think he can get better. Athleticism at a 7.5. Again, that's why you're drafting him. Just ridiculous athlete at his size, his physicality. Those are the two things you gotta love. Physicality, one, incredibly physical guy, and athleticism. And I don't have a specific grade for physicality, and maybe I should. I'll probably relook at that in the off season a little bit, but right now my template doesn't have one for physicality. But athleticism we can certainly talk about, and he's just a physical freak and athletic freak at his size. Play strength 3.1. This was an issue for me. This is something where it's like, yeah, I think he needs to add to his frame a little bit. I do think he needs to get a little bit stronger at the point of attack. I did feel like when guys got their hands on him, especially like in the run game, I'm going to kind of talk about leverage again at a 5.2. I felt like he got pushed back, like stalemate, a one-on-one situation. I saw him lose more than I would have liked to, right? Like I saw him get pushed back. I saw him get pushed off balance, things like that. I think his game right now is all predicated on speed, explosiveness, and physicality, right? I don't think like strength in the traditional defensive lineman way, because I do think like he is functional strength, but in that real play strength, that real, you're getting manhandled by a tackle in the run game. I need you to get under him, push him back on your way to the running back to set the edge, right? I didn't see enough of that. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying, like, right now, I think that's still kind of a work in progress in his game. Hand usage at a 5, and I really think, next year I'm probably going to expand this grade into 2 separate categories for hand usage, but for now, just one overall grade at a 5. And there's a lot to unpack here, right? First of all, he does have that go-to rip move that is kind of tried and true. Not a ton of versatility in like the way he uses his hands, but he's quick and twitchy, and that does, extend to his hands and his ability to just like he's got very quick hands. He has a ton of power in his hands. You can tell it's not, his punches land, right? Like I'll put it that way. But as powerful as his punch was, as quick as his hands are, just wasn't enough variety for me to put that grade a little bit higher. And like I said, I do need to kind of expand on that grade and have two different things, and I'll probably do that next year at this time. Leverage at a 2.5. I kind of mentioned it already with play strength. Yeah, I don't think he's particularly good against the run right now, and just in general, I do think one-on-one situations he lost too many times. I didn't see him just anchor in and set the edge as much as I would have liked to have seen. Again, I do think that kind of goes hand in hand. Not terrible, and certainly something that I think he will grow with as he adds to that frame. I think that's kind of a big thing, as physically gifted as he is, as the prototype of a great defensive end that he is. I still think he has a lot of growing to do, and as a sophomore in college is going to the NFL, he's going to have time to do that. Tackling at a 6.5, very good tackler. That's a very plus grade for me. I'm good with it. I feel the same way about read and react. I'm good with it. Checks the box. We'll move right along to versus the run at a 3.9. And again, this goes right hand in hand with leverage. I think he can get pushed off the ball a little bit. I think he can lose leverage a little bit, and really when that happens, he kind of can get pushed out of the run play and be a non-factor at times, and that was an issue for me. Again, I mean, he's a good tackler. When he gets the opportunity, he's fine. But when a run blocker squares up on him, gets between his shoulder pads and drives him back, I mean, he's kind of lost, and there's really not a lot he can do. And that was an issue for me. That kind of, again, goes right into play strength. I think year one specifically, yeah, he's probably just going to be kind of your rush defensive end on passing downs, and you're kind of have to integrate him into the defense that way. I don't see him as a 3 down back year one. I think he projects to be that in the future, but right now what we're talking about is not a finished product. Motor at an 8. I mean, this encompasses every aspect of his game. He runs like a dude with his head on fire. I mean, he is just a heat-seeking missile at times on that defensive line. He is explosive as hell. He's twitchy as hell, and he has, he plays with reckless abandon. Just every single play, he wants to tear somebody's head off. He is fighting, rushing, pushing, it's everything. You have to love that. I think that's a huge trait for a defensive end, is motor, right? It's so important to see a guy who is playing through every single rep, beginning to end, like a fucking madman. I mean, that's what he's doing, and I love it. I love seeing that. Technique at a 4, yeah, we kind of talked about that. I feel like I've hit that pretty hard. Raw prospect, a guy who I do think is going to have to be coached up in his first couple of years in the league, but that's okay. He's a young guy with all the physical tools. I don't need the technique to be all the way there right now. It's just not this moment. And coverage at 3.5, I have that on here for certain styles of players. I don't think that's the style player that this guy is. I didn't see him in space really at all, so I don't have a good gauge of where that would be if he was put in that position, but I don't think it matters. This is defensive end. Overall, guys, I look at Jayson Oweh as a guy who is just your prototypical, has all the tools in the bag, physical specimen that is not quite yet a polished enough player to expect to have a ton of production year one, but he has the potential, and I'm not saying he'll ever get here, but he has the potential to be an elite NFL defensive end in the next 3 to 4 years. He could be a top 10 player at his position in 3 to 4 years. I think he's a guy who probably should be put in a situation where he's going to be playing wide 9. I like him being that prototypical rush defensive end. I think year one, you're going to put him weak side. You're not going to ask him to play the run a whole lot, but I don't have a problem projecting him out to be that strong side defensive end that can handle the rush and things like that. I think, even year one, he could be that. I like I mentioned, I don't love his strength at the point of the attack. That's why I say, year one, put him weak side on passing down significantly, so where he's really just doing one thing and rushing the passer, right? He'll probably get 3, 4, maybe 5 sacks year one and progress. Hopefully year two, you see him being utilized in a more, significant role in the defense, and then that will just kind of snowball into him being a legitimate starter in the next 3 to 4 years, right? That's kind of what I see for him. As far as where he goes, I think, he's not going to fall out of the second round. I can't imagine a team, at the back half of the second round, at the absolute latest, looking at this style of player, this physical specimen, and not thinking, man, we got time. I'm talking about, Saints, Chiefs, Buccaneers, like any of those teams, right? Top teams in the NFL, or Packers, like just name a team that's really good that's been going to the playoffs the past couple of years. I can't imagine any one of those teams in the second round looking at this guy. And again, I'm talking floor of where he could get drafted. Looking at this guy and being like, man, we could turn him into something special in a couple years, right? Like, so that's why second round is he's not falling out of the second round. I just would be shocked. I really would. And really, he could go first round. Like, it wouldn't bother me a bit. Any one of the teams I just mentioned at the back half of the first round, it feels like they have a good feel for the player, feels like they know the guy, feels like they know how they want to coach him up, have a good plan for him, and they want to pull that trigger in the first round. I don't have a problem with that. I don't see why anybody would. I mean, this is a very, very valuable position, and this is a guy who has the potential to be very, very good at this position. We'll see what happens, guys. I'm a huge fan. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you think you would enjoy more videos just like this one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.